Hello, and thank you for your interest in this CyView software. The following presentation will step you through a web-based implementation of our query client and demonstrate some of the key elements of these CyView capabilities. It performs the ability to perform inexact string matches, the ability to weight the search criteria, ability to search through unstructured text such as comments, also the ability to use Boolean logic such as not, or, and within the fields. You may specify fields as exact in order to anchor searches to known correct values. Greatly reduced search or lookup times are realized with the CyView software. CyView is available in an easily installable application programming interface, or API, in your .NET development environment. The first screen shows the ability of the CyView query client to specify the processing for each field in one of many different ways. It may be performed as inexact as the default. CyView will do fuzzy processing for the query criteria specified for that field. You may specify exact as specified in the previous slide to anchor the field to that specific value provided in that query criteria field. You may specify OR processing, very much like codes, very useful in situations such as on the screen here with zip codes. You may enter in a list of space-delimited values, and it will bring back records with the field containing one or more of those values. You may specify not, in the case of this screen, the middle name. It will return records that are not equal to the middle name of Abner. So you may exclude values from your list. And lastly, you may specify wildcard processing. At least 3 characters must be entered in the field, and then field values within the database that begin with those characters will be returned. Here on this screen we are showing the ability to anchor the last name to Paul for exact, and then we are searching for Lawrence and John. Note the return values for first name and middle name show variances of the input criteria, demonstrating the inexact matching capability. The results can be further refined. In this case, the next slide will show where an address has been entered, Endigen Road. Now the results have been greatly reduced to show only the addresses that are closely or highly relevant to the string Endigen. All variations that are within the desired closeness of fit will be returned. On this screen we have specified Paul, Barbara for middle name, and John for the first name. And you note that we get back first names of John, Jen, and Joven or Hoven. Middle names of Barbara, Barry, and Barton. Although Barry is not exactly like Barbara, the letters the B, R, and the E is very close. And Barton as well. B-A-R matches reasonably closely. On this screen we have added an additional field with criteria. We've put in a zip code. The results have been reduced down. We still have John, Jen, Joven, Barbara, Barry, and Barton, but this time we have a zip code specified. Note that the zip code, the record on the very top of the results, has the zip code matching that string put in there. This particular query here is the same as the previous one in slide 5. However, we've put in a partial zip code. Note, however, that the record at the very top still matches the zip code that was partially put in, but other records with variations of those characters are in there as well. With all of our return results, the CyView software will rank the records, and the ones that are most closely relevant are scored the highest, and the records will appear at the top of the list. This particular example shows the ability to use structured fields, which is the default processing. So here we have the last name of Paul, a first name of John, and an address of Latent. And the very top record that is returned is the Latent Content Road, and then other records that still have strings that are very highly relevant to Latent are returned, such as Latent, Lays, Talent, because Talent has all the same letters as Latent, just slightly reorganized, and on down the list. On slide 8, what we have is we are now added in some more detail. We added in some more characters, 137 latent, and note that the results are certainly reduced, and only the records that have some combination of the letters 137 and latent are displayed. The following slide displays the ability to handle comment or unstructured text. Note that the comment field in the details panel and the matching text is in bold. So here we've queried for John Hazel, and in the comment field where we've searched for village editor, it's purposely misspelled. And in the return records, when we click on the records, the detail fields have the comment field. Note in this particular example that John Velva Hazel has been selected, and the comment village elders highlighted, also valuable, which has many of the same characters that's in the input criteria. In this example, we are querying for an address, but treating the address as an unstructured field, as a comment field, rather than treating it as a standard structured field. And you can contrast the results for this with the structured text on slide 11. Now, the last name is no longer anchored to the value Paul. It is chosen to be inexact. Note that the query processing time is longer on this slide. It is over 6 seconds. We'll go to the previous slide where it was merely a couple seconds because the last name was anchored to exact. The next slide is the same as slide 11. However, we have changed a setting called search depth. CyView has the ability to control how extensively the search software examines all the possibilities within the database. Here we've set the depth to moderate, and what you can note is that the results are returned much more quickly in 218 milliseconds. The most relevant record is still returned at top, John Paul 3137 latent content road. However, the result set has been reduced. We have a concept also within the CyView software of field weights. In this particular example, the field weights have been displayed on the screen. They are all set to be the same. They're all 1, so they're all treated as the same. So note the addresses in the query results set here for the address of Shelley with first name John, last name Paul, and middle name Lawrence. The next slide, the field weight for the address has been set to 3 times that of the other fields. Note the impact that has on the address fields of the overall record score, thus affecting the order of the records being shown. Note how address is now emphasized over middle name on the results. The next slide, we have now doubled the field weight for the address. It is now 6 times that of all the other fields, increasing the impact of the address fields on the overall record score. Now note that Hell Road is at the top of the list, and the other records have moved in the list from where they previously were. Finally, we've changed the field weight to be 20 times that of all the other fields. It is greatly altered for the address, greatly impacts the address field over all the other fields in the query. Note that the reduced set of results and only records with addresses very closely matching Shelley in the criteria are returned. In this case, Hell, Shellac, and Shell, very closely matched. In summary, CyView offers a powerful inexact or fuzzy string matching capability. There's no special hardware requirements for the CyView software. It has a lightweight footprint on an existing architecture. There is no specialized training required to be able to use the CyView capability. No dedicated full-time staff are required to manage and maintain the CyView capability. There's no special pre-processing of existing data. Only pre-processing is required is the analysis done by the administration utility when the saved screen file is first produced. And no updates to the existing data structures are required. The target data is indeed read-only. The only qualification is that fields that are being queried by the CyView software have an index generated on them. This concludes the demonstration of our CyView query software. Thank you very much for your interest.